welcome to the class of statistics. Statistics is in Hindi we call it सांख्यिकी. Statistics को हिंदी में सांख्यिकी बोलते हैं. सांख्यिकी का से तात्पर्य है संख्या के से रिलेटेड कुछ, संख्या का गुणा भाग, संख्या की आगे और उसके बारे में उस पर काम करना, उसका रूप बदलना, उसको प्रस्तुत करना. Statistics is, we have been hearing the word statistics every now and then. Different group of people mean or give a different definition or meaning to statistics. For example, two persons standing and talking about selling and buying a shop or a house, and one says, give me the statistics of the product, right? So while the other group may say, give me a meaning, you have two different sector of people. You have the layman or a common man, and you have expertise, an expert. A layman or a common man will give a different purview of statistics, whereas the expert will give you another purview of statistics. When two people, for example, are standing and talking, they say statistics for them is just numbers. You give me the statistics of a product, you give me the statistics of the place, you give me the statistics of the land, you give me the statistics of how your company is doing. This means for them numbers, right? For an expert, statistics carries altogether a different meaning, a different definition, a different perspective. So statistics for two different sector of people means altogether a very different and a complete or a different thing. But to all it means facts and figures, maybe, or data or records, numbers. These terms comes to our mind when we hear this term, right? Many economists and statisticians have come with different definition of statistics. We can discuss and get the meaning of the word statistics. We are just discussing the overview of statistics, the theoretical aspect of statistics. If theoretical aspect, theory के बारे में अगर हम clear हैं, तो it will be very easy for us to proceed further and get how statistics can be applied in solving different aspects of our life. The most simple and known definition of statistics. The most simple and known definition of statistics is the practice or science. Practice or science, right? Of collecting and analyzing numerical data. Collecting, analyzing what? Numerical data in large quantities, especially for the purpose of inferring proportions. In a whole from those in a representative sample. This is how we get the definition, the most common definition of statistics, and from this definition we get the features of statistics. The first is statistics is a practice or a science. You apply something and how you carry out that, right? So that is practicing, or it is a science. You are conducting, in science you conduct an experiment and then you see if the experiment is successful or not. Similarly, in statistics, it is a practice is done. You practice statistics. right? Second, practice what? Means something you are doing, right? Then what you do what? Doing. Practice is something doing what? Collecting and analyzing numerical data. You are collecting data and you are analyzing it. You are collecting the numerical data and then you are analyzing the data, right, from the various sources. The sources will be discussed later. Then after collecting the data, analyzing the data, we are inferring the proportions, right? After inferring the proportions, or you are trying to figure out what have you analyzed, trying to find out what the results you will gain from it, and finally you will present the data from the representative sample, and you will draw the conclusion. If in the sample it is given like that, the whole thing will go in the similar fashion. So statistics is practicing or doing something. Doing what? Collecting and analyzing the numerical data, inferring proportions and finding out the results from the representative samples and drawing conclusions. This is the most common definition of statistics, and we have gained or we have come out with few features of statistics. Statistics is basically a branch of mathematics dealing with the collection, analysis, interpretation, presentation and organization of data. Some economists and mathematicians say that statistics is a branch of mathematics. It is not a different discipline, but it is coming from maths, a branch of mathematics. It is no altogether a different discipline. It is coming from the discipline of mathematics. Now we shall study the scope of statistics. Statistics pertains to collection. Scope, how wide it is, how narrow it is, this will define the scope of statistics. Statistics pertains to collection, analysis and interpretation and explanation and presentation of data. Some call it a branch of mathematics because of application of maths to statistics. We use various mathematical techniques like linear algebra, mathematical analysis, probability theories. So that is why we have called statistics as a branch of mathematics. Now, how scope is defined? Two things we study under this. One to all to one. These are the two things we study under the scope. Roughly, there may be other things, there are other things, but these two will define the basic nature of statistics. One to all, it is individual to general. All to one is general to individual. Under this, it is said, first we will study what is one to all. If you are making a survey, suppose there is a group of students standing and you go and ask them one to all. If you are conducting this way, this is the scope. If you go and ask if this group or this age of students or is this age of people, what are their preferences over drinks? Which cold drink is preferred? So one student says he likes the non-aerated drinks. The other student says the non-aerated drinks. The third student says the same. So it is generalized that what one is saying, it applies to all. That is generalized, that is assumed. What one means, it applies to all. That is individual to general. Second is all to one. What all is saying, one will also say the same thing. If all are saying yes, the fees should not be increased of the schools and the colleges. This is just an example. So once if you ask one student, he will also say the same thing. So this is the scope of statistics, one to all and all to one. Next thing is limitations. What are the misuses or what are the demerits of the term statistics or studying statistics can lead to what? Its misuse can produce subtle but very serious errors. There will be no big harm, but yes, serious errors will be produced, and whatever the findings are, all the findings will stand wrong in the description and interpretation. Another limitation is that finding ways to interpret only that data that are favorable to the presenter. I will present only that data that will go in my favor. I will not look at the actual situation the people are facing or the group is facing or my sample is facing. Whatever is favorable to me, I will present only that data. So this is the limitation of statistics. We will deal with the limitation of statistics in detail. Statistics can be both. You can do it, it can be misused, like it can be, there are demerits, or it can, the wrong thing that can happen to a statistics could be intentionally or unintentionally. Something that might go wrong can be done intentionally or unintentionally. Overgeneralized conclusions. First is overgeneralized conclusions can be another limitation, that is more than they really are. You are getting a small data, you are analyzing that data, and you are giving the results. But that result is, if you want to show it in your favor, you are exaggerating the figures. आप उन फिगर्स को बड़ा चढ़ा के दिखा रहे हैं, you are exaggerating them, you are over generalizing your conclusions. So basically the whole study will go wrong because the conclusions or the results that you have drawn are over generalized, which may be working in your favor but they are false. Collection of samples. To make data gathered from statistics believable and accurate, the sample has to be the representative of whole. If you want that whatever data you have collected should represent the whole thing, then you have to have the most accurate of samples, because those samples are the representative of the whole data. Then only you can say, no, all the people or all the parents are saying that the school fees should not increase. If your collection of samples or collection of data from a particular group or a representative group is false, then the whole statistics will fumble, the whole process will go wrong. example, if we take collection of media, I will just give you a small example of collection of samples. That is a popular toothpaste brand. If you see, there is a toothpaste brand which says that 80% of the dentists use a particular brand of toothpaste. But they say ki, okay, there is a brand of toothpaste and 80% dentists use that. Right? But actually, if you go and take the samples of few dentists, there may be 10 to 20% who may be using that toothpaste. So the samples represent the whole dentist. Few samples represent the whole dentist. So if this data is wrong, then you cannot make, then that will be known as misleading ad. Because whatever figures you are producing are not from the actual, do not represent the real samples. Popular toothpaste brand claims 80% dentists recommend the brand. Consumers were led to believe that 80% dentists actually use it, while 20 other brands. But when dentists were actually surveyed, they could choose several other brands also. Overgeneralized and collection of samples. Next limitation is biased samples. Validity of data and not the analysis. You have to stick to when you are sampling, when you are collecting the samples, you have to see how much your data is valid, how much it is correct, how much it is accurate. But we don't bother much about the data, we bother about the analysis, which should not be the part. If your data is not valid, analysis, presentation, graphical representation, all will just fumble down if the data is incorrect. You need to put the right thing inside to get the right thing outside. You need to have a right and accurate output. Analysis will all go afterwards, but the validity of data should be accurate. If your data is biased, you are collecting the data as per your choice, which might not give accurate results, then analysis and any other process will not prove right. Data manipulation. You can also call it as fudging of data. You can manipulate your data. We see in all the limitations we are talking about the data part. If the first step is wrong, the whole chain will go wrong, and the purpose of collecting the data, presenting it, doing whatever survey will all come down. It will all prove to be a futile exercise. So if you are collecting biased data, if your data is manipulated, you suppose even if your data is correct, you have collected the samples, but you have played with that data, you have fudged your data according to you, so that you can do analysis of your choice, then again that is another limitation of statistics. Data manipulation will lead to wrong results. Biased labeling. You can put misleading labels on your data. This product is very good. This is a herbal product. This is a Ayurvedic product. This product has these many medicines. It has such a medicinal value. The toothpaste contains all such things to make your teeth shinier, brighter. So these are biased labelings, just to have the thing of your choice, correct, not correct. You are putting misleading labels on your data. So this is another limitation of statistics.